everyone, my name is Reg and I'm the Paper Junkie and welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to do a review of the 2019 Design Your Life Back to Basics Planner. So if you were a follower or a subscriber since 2016, then you would probably remember that I also did a review for the 2017 version of their planner, and I also did a 2019 Design Your Life Planner review just recently, and I will be including the link of the video in the description box below just in case you would want to compare these two planners. So let's get started. The Design Your Life Back to Basics Planner has a velvet scratch-proof hardcover. So if I tap it, you'll probably hear it because it's really hard and sturdy. And if you open the planner, you'll see an About Me section here. So you can write your name and then your point of contact, like an email address or a cell phone number, just in case you leave your planner somewhere. It would be easier for other people to return it to you, especially if they don't know you. You can also put here the contact numbers of your family or friends, just in case they can't contact you to return your planner, or in case of emergency, if you, for example, I don't want it to happen to anyone, but just in case you pass out and you have your planner with you, then they can look into it and then just see who to call just in case of an emergency. And then there's also space for hotline numbers and then some medical information. The size of the Design Your Life Back to Basics planner is 8.25 inches by 8.5 inches, including this black binding. The pages are 105 GSM, and it also includes a no-tear double-sided pocket. So you can see here the double-sided pocket. It's actually pretty much the same as the 2019 Design Your Life Planner. And you can put important receipts or papers that you would want to store in here. Maybe some photos if you're into merging memory keeping and planning in one. So the sticker sheet comes in with the planner, so it includes a set of emoji stickers, some word stickers, and then some icon ones that are actually commonly used in planners. And then we also have here included a thank you card from CNS Designs containing all their social media handles, and that's it for the thank you card. So we also have here a card if you're going to give this as a gift to someone. This is a really cute gift card. So as I mentioned, let's just put this aside for a second, and it's double-sided, so you can put papers in here and then you can also put papers at the back. Then the next page would be the manual. So this is actually just a set of instructions to help you out on how to use your Design Your Life Back to Basics planner. So you would see here the format of what it looks like for the day, and then you can define your own system. If it depends, like if you want to use the first section as the morning schedule, the second section as the midday schedule, and then the third section as the evening schedule. Or actually you can put in different sections. So for example, this is for work or for school. This is for my later or for meal prep and stuff like that. So you can actually define your own system, and it depends on you how you would want to use this. So there's also daily threes at the bottom. You can actually use this to write your gratitude, achievements, priorities, etc. So it depends on you if you want to use it or not. Each part of this planner is designed with flexibility and aesthetics in mind. You may choose to use it, or it can just become a decorative aspect. So that's it for the manual. Let's proceed to the next page. So the next page is the 2019 events. So it's just a year at a glance, or an overview of the important events that would happen to you this year. So you can just write them here. Like for example, you can write the specific date here and then write what event it is, like New Year's Day, or you have a vacation leave, or you have a family vacation. And then on the right page, you would see the gift list. So it's actually a good idea to track who you would be giving gifts to for the year, so that it would be included in your yearly budget. So you can write here the events to schedule, notes about the events you need to schedule, and then the name of the people you would want to give gifts to, some gift ideas that you probably think they would like, and then the cost of the gift ideas that you have for that specific person. And then in the bottom part of the gift list, you would see here my wish list. So it's time for you to write your own wish list, like items that you would want to receive as gifts. And then we proceed to the next section. So this is the goals section. The year goals, you have to define, on the first part, you have to define your year goals. So it's actually pretty much the same as the Design Your Life Planner. As I mentioned, you can just watch the video to compare both of them. And they have the evaluation section, which is just a section that asks you what is your current situation, list your strengths, weaknesses, skills, or capabilities in this 3 sections. So it's divided: personal, work or career, and then relationships. And then year goals. So pretend that this is your last year. What things do you want to achieve? So you have to write your goals here specific to the category on the left corner or on the left side. And then the last column is for motivation. Like, why do you want this? Make sure it is something you want and not what others want for you. So it's just actually answering the question, why do you want to do the goals that you listed down in the year goals? Then for the second step, you have to define your fears. So there are 4 columns: the worst thing, what you fear, and then how to prevent this thing from happening, how to repair just in case it happens, and then the cost of inaction, so consequences of not doing the goal. That again, you listed in the first section. So the third step is to actually create an action plan. And you have here templates for 2 goals. I think you can actually just copy it over to a separate notebook, or maybe to the notes pages at the back. I'll be showing it to you later, so you can actually copy the milestones for each goal. So for example, if my personal goal is to learn a new language for 2019, then I can write here the milestones for each month, and then what the reward would be and when I have completed that goal. The last step is for accountability. So have someone be your accountability partner and schedule quarterly checkups to ensure that you're on the right track and checking off those milestones. So it is actually a good idea to have a person, maybe your best friend or somebody you really look up to, or someone you can actually tell your achievements to be your accountability partner, just so you know he or she can motivate you to do better along the way, so that you can achieve your goal throughout the year. The next page is for lists. So maybe you can write down here random stuff, like for the first column, since it's a bit longer than the ones in this page, you can write here your New Year's resolution for 2019, your to-dos for 2019 still, and then anything you would want. So maybe you would want to write all the movies you watched here, and then write all the books you've read here, write the most memorable stuff that happened to you. So this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 bullets here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 21 bullets here. Or maybe I miscounted it, but it's okay. So that's for the lists section. And then we have here the last time. So when was the last time for example, when was the last time I read a book? When was the last time I cleaned the fridge? When was the last time I had a doctor's or dentist appointment and stuff like that? So you can put it in here, especially if it's recurring and you need to do it and be reminded of it. If it's a quarterly thing or it's a bi-monthly thing, like for example, if you have to pay your insurance or your investment quarterly, then you can put it here so that you could be remembered, oh, I paid it during this day and that day. And then here you can see the monthlies. So this is a space for you to track your recurring to-do lists, events, or habits, and so you don't have to write it over and over again. So that's actually a really helpful thing if you're into tracking stuff. Like for example, if you're tracking your bills payment, or you're tracking a monthly thing, what else do you track? Like for example, if you have to to pay your dues monthly, then you can put it in here. Or if you have a team building stuff for the office, I know we have that one, so I have to schedule it monthly, so you can put it in here, and then just start a few notes if you have something you want to say about this item, for example. And then we proceed to the next page, which is the key. So this is actually a password tracker, and then you can categorize the sites under its first letter to help you retrieve it faster. So I actually suggest not putting your exact passwords in here, but hints, for example. So let's say for Twitter, your password is something that's your favorite song. For example, let's say I could make an example out of Lian and Ara's wrist. So maybe you can just try to write down Lian and Ara, and then something to remind you of, because you can actually try out anything that would trigger you to remember what your password is. So I actually remember all my passwords, so that would be easier for me. But for those people who are really forgetful, I think this would be of really good use to you. But as I mentioned, and as CNS Designs already advised here, use shortcut codes or names that only you understand. Because what if you lose this planner and then all your passwords are in here? So it would be harder for you, especially if you put here the password of the bank account you have, then you would have to figure out a way to stop or ban your account first when your planner gets lost. So that's it. Just try to write down codes that would trigger you to remember your password. The next part is the cash flow. So we have here 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4 rows. The first row is for income or allowances. So just in case if you have an income, fixed income, and then you have a part-time job or maybe a speaking engagement or other freelance or part-time things that actually add or contribute to the income, then you can put it here. And then your savings and or investment. So for example, you want to save for a new phone, or you want to save for a Kindle, or you want to save for a new iPad or a new laptop, stuff like that. So you can put here the price for the end goal and then just track the savings that you have. Or for example, or investments that you want to add to your investments, for example your mutual funds or your stock account, and then you can actually put it in here. And then the end goal for the year, let's say I want to save up 12,000 pesos, so that would mean 1,000 per month, so that you can track your savings in here. And then by the end of the year, you can actually calculate the total of your savings. And then the second to the last row is the expenses row, and it actually just asks you to list down the bills you have. So for example, electricity, the water, your postpaid plan, or your internet plan, and then when the due date is. So like for example, 9th of the month or 10th of the month and stuff like that. And then there's a small tick box here that you can check if you actually paid for that month, and then maybe write what the exact amount is in here, because sometimes actually it's fluctuating depending on your usage. Like for example, my postpaid plan, it varies every month depending on the excess usage I have. So the last row is the debt tracker, where you can add credit card bills or other loans. So you can put in here the credit card, and then same as the expense row, it also has tick boxes so that you can check it if you paid it for that month. And then same for all rows, they have the total so that you would know how much you've paid for or saved up for the different financial goals that you have. Then we proceed to the January or the monthly pages. So you can see that it's really spacious, and that's one of the things I really love about planners, if they have really spacious monthlies, so that I can write everything. Because actually I use the monthlies for tracking not only the events but also some easy to remember stuff. Like for example, I watched a movie on January 3, and then I also watched something else or went to somewhere else on January 10, then I would actually put it there. And I'm a fan of stickers, so I put a lot of stickers in all my monthlies and weeklies. And you can see here, aside from the actual holidays in the Philippines, like for example, happy on January 1 there's a Happy New Year that's in bold. There are also a few fun stuff, like there's Trivia Day and then Peculiar People Day. I didn't know there was such a thing. On January 13 it's National Sticker Day, so who would have thought there's an actual day for stickers. There's a Compliment Day and then Opposite Day, so it's fun to actually have or to know these different days for the month. And then you have here your month goal or milestone, so you can either use this to write down your month goal for the month, and then or use it after the month for a review, and then just put it what your milestone is for the month. And then you can see here at the upper right corner of the page there are 3 mini calendars. So the first one is the previous month. The emphasized one, or the white one that's bigger than the 2, is the current month. And then we have here the next month, which is, for this case, February. And then here you have the pending list. So just in case you have stuff from last month that still need to be done for this month, then you can actually write it here. So for example, if you still haven't finished your goals for the year, you can write here, goal setting for 2019. Or if you owed someone something, or you ask someone to return an item to you, just for example, he or she borrowed a book from you and then she forgot it last month because it's holiday season, then you can write here follow up on blah 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 about the book he or she borrowed. So there's also a space for noteworthy stuff, like if you want to remember all the happy things that happened to you for the month, and you can write it down here, or you can actually use it for something else that you would want to. And before I forget, I forgot to include this bookmark because I actually opened the planner beforehand. So there's also a detachable bookmark that you can use to mark your current day or current week. So I can actually just show this to you later on, but I almost forgot. So since we're done with the monthly, we can proceed to the weekly. So as I said, the detachable bookmark, you can use it, for example, if it's already the week of December 31 until January 6, then you can put it here so that it will be easier to you to find out where exactly to open to. So for example, I have the planner closed, and you can see it here, the page marker, so I can just open it from there, and then I'm already in the current week that I have. Okay, so we can just remove this first so that I can discuss the weekly layout. So the Back to Basics planner is actually has a fixed layout for all the weeks and months. So the thing that only differs is the color. Like for example, this one is peach and this one is a different shade of green. And what else? Yeah, so it actually just varies with the color, but the layout's pretty much the same, unlike the Design Your Life planner. So let's focus on the stuff in here first before we proceed with the actual daily layout. So if you can see here, you have the current month and then of course the year, and then there's a quote on this side. So I believe it would be different for each week. And then you can have here a power word for the week. I actually do it yearly, but it would be helpful to have at least one power word, or maybe a phrase of affirmation, or a phrase that would help you be encouraged or feel motivated. And then we have here the goal for the week, so you can set it. It's actually helpful to break down goals. That's what I learned from one of the podcasts I listened to. So this is really a good space for you to write what your goal would be for the week. And then you have here at the upper right corner of the page, the current week is highlighted, so there's a small calendar. And then if you can see clearly, it has its own line. It's white, so I'm not sure if you're going to see it. And then you have here the major to-dos for the week. Maybe stuff that you need to do and are of priority but doesn't have a specific day. Like for example, I need to pick up the package I have from the post office, but it's not really time specific or day specific, so you can just put it in here and then find the free time for you to do or to pick up that package in the post office. And then for same as the monthly page, there's also a noteworthy space in here, so you can actually write the stuff that happened that are worth noting for the week. So that would be it for the spaces around the weeklies. Okay, so here it's pretty much the same and it's fixed, but the only thing that differs is the quotes for the week. So let's proceed to the dailies. As mentioned in the manual, let me just go back to that page. You can define your own system. So we have here on the upper part 8 blue thingies. Those are actually stuff to track your water intake. So it's recommended to have at least 8 glasses of water for the day, and then you can just check. The small circle here is to just check if you actually reached your goal for the day, and then maybe you can just mark this. So some people prefer highlighters so they can highlight it. Some people prefer just putting an X mark and then just maybe putting a slash mark. So it depends on you. So it's actually divided into 3 sections, and as I mentioned before or earlier, you can divide it into maybe put this as a morning, afternoon, and then evening schedule, or you can categorize it depending, for example, work, personal, and then your blog or vlog. Like me, for example, I need to track all the activities I do for my blog or Instagram account. So as I mentioned, it's pretty much the same for all the weeks, but the color varies per month. So I'm just checking if there's another page that's fixed for the month. So we have here an expense tracker, and you can just write here the categories you have. For example, house, food, transportation, entertainment, and stuff like that, and then you can just track it in here. So I actually do my tracking. I'm not sure if I've mentioned it before, but I actually do my tracking in an app called Money Lover Plus, I think. It's not sponsored, by the way, but I'm just giving you a tip. And then maybe at the end of the month, you can just copy the transactions or expenses that you have in that app and then put it in here for, you know, just for review for you to see, because it's different when you see it in the app and then it's different when you see it written down. And then you have here the notes. For example, you realize that 50 or maybe excuse me, 50% of your expenditure was actually for food. Then you have to do something about it. Or maybe you notice that, oh no, I've been going to Starbucks for more than I actually can afford, or stuff like that. Then you can put it in here, and then there's a monthly total there. So what else? So it's actually pretty much the same as I mentioned. So what I noticed is if it's an actual holiday in the Philippines, it's in bold, and if it's the fun days that were included by CNS Designs, then it's not in bold and it's in normal font. So I don't think I need to do a flip through since it's fixed. So I'm just doing this really fast flipping, or yeah, flipping of the pages, because it's, as I mentioned, it's pretty much systemic, and the layout is fixed for each month, unlike the Design Your Life Planner. So we can proceed to the last few pages after December. So you will see here that there's a project keeper. So check. So there are different headers or labels at the top part. So it says here project, when the deadline is, plan start, like for example, you can check as project progresses and then tick for each hour of work or tick for 30-minute increments and use the next line if project needs more time. So for example, I need to, and this is an actual example, I need to work on my blog, fix the template, produce more content, and then brainstorm stuff. So I can actually put it in here, revamp the paper junkie, and then when the deadline is personally for me, or maybe in school if you have a project and you have to work on it, then you can also write it in here. So there are actually 2 pages for this, and you can utilize it for the whole year. Now, just in case you can't, maybe it's helpful to scan the pages and then print it out and then attach it in here. So you can copy the mechanism of the page marker like this. So you can punch holes and then cut it in here so that you can attach it here, and then you have another page for your project keeper. And then the next page is your sleep tracker. So mark a line down each day to track your hours of sleep. So for example, for January, I slept for 8 hours on January 1, and then I slept for 6 hours on January 2. So I have to plot it in here and then just, maybe write down, or I think it's a line graph. It's supposed to be a line graph. So you can just plot your sleep in here. So it's pre-made for you for the whole year. And then here you can see that there's a travel checklist. So your master checklist, each numbered column is designated for each travel planner in the next page. So this is actually coordinated with the travel planner here. So it's color coded. The first one is, I think it's teal or blue green, I'm not really sure, and then there's green, and then there's red. So if you have travel plans for the year, like for example, my first travel plan would be to Legazpi, and then the second one would be to another place, and then the third one would be an international travel. You have to write here to research. Well, for me, I don't have to research anything about Legazpi because that was my hometown. I've been there for how many years? More than half of my life. And then just write down here to do before going to the specific place. Like for example, I need to buy stuff for my sister or my friends in Legazpi, and then to bring, you can actually put it in here. And then if there's more that you would want about here, or more stuff you would want to write about what's in this column, then you can write it down here. Or if you have other stuff to do, then you can just write it down here. And then just check it as you go if you've done it already. And then the next pages are the travel planner. So you will specify where you're going to, what date or the date range, the temperature in that place, the weather, and then where you're staying at. So for example, if you're staying at the hotel or an Airbnb, then you can just put it in here. And then when you're leaving, when you're returning, and then there are a couple of to-do lists here, or list spaces where you can actually write some stuff here. Maybe you can bring your planner with you and then just write down, oh, this is what happened on the first day, this is what happened on the second and the third day, and then you can just write in here your itinerary. So it's the same for each travel planner, it just differs in color. And then we have there are actually 2, 3 note pages in, oh no, there are a couple of dotted pages at the back section. So as I mentioned, if you would want, here before I forget, if you would want to track your goals from here and you have no other space, then you can use the notes pages at the back, or the same as what I suggested for the project keeper. You can scan it and then print it and then just put it in here. And not sure if this should be in here or if this should have been at the last part, but there's also a future log for the next year. So if you would want to plan your 2020 in advance, then you can write here what events to schedule for. Like for example, if you need to have a annual physical examination or checkup, then you can put it in here and then decide where to schedule it, and then you have here the notes, and then there's an and beyond here, just space for maybe if you still have dates you want to remember, and then you can just put it in here. So that's what's inside the 2019 Design Your Life Back to Basics Planner. I would actually want to try to do a side-by-side comparison of both the Design Your Life and the Back to Basics Planner. So I'll try my best to do that video. And if you want me to do that, then please comment in the comment boxes below. And then tell me what else you would want to ask about the Design Your Life Back to Basics Planner. So I will also be including the social media handles and the website of CNS Designs. So if you want to know, for my international followers, they actually ship internationally, so it's okay for you to order through their website, and then they will be able to ship it to you. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, please don't forget to like, comment, and then subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!